Fnatic's turn to pick.
Sladar.
Team Liquid's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Dark Seer.
Team Liquid's turn to pick. Ten seconds remaining.
Spirit.
Fnatic's turn to pick.
Dusk.
Team Liquid's turn to ban.
Eliminations, when you talk about, what won OG Frankfurt, what arguably may have won them Manila, it's the interplay, that strong 3-4 interaction in terms of being able to be so aggressive around the map early on in the game, and you see both teams are opening with these 3-4 duos that have great team fight potential, but can also go super aggressive in lane early.
Straight off the bat, it seems like a drafting error to let Liquid have Bird Spirit, just because of how great Jerax is on it. Like, Crit and Jerax, those two guys, you just don't want to give Bird Spirit. I would rather give over the Lycan than let him have Bird Spirit.
I don't understand the Lycan ban. They overrated a lot. When I see Liquid play, they play standard. I don't feel like the Lycan is winning them the game. Lycan is there.
Liquid is great at utilizing Lycan and putting down the timing on it.
Yeah, but there's so many heroes that do the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But doesn't that come down to personal preference for them? They just really enjoy playing the hero, and then it does what they need it to do when they need it.
You gotta be some sort of masochist to prefer playing against Jerax's Earth Spirit. That's not a good thing.
But imagine I'm beating the Earth Spirit though.
That's true.
That would be such.
I think when you talk about Lycan though, you gotta realize that Fnatic are gonna have to prioritize denying Liquid vision, and that's one thing that Matumbaman gets out of his Lycan wolves better than I think anybody else. He uses those wolves for scouting and vision so effectively, and that really prevents you from setting up those teamfight combos as well as facilitating Liquid setting up their own.
The follow-up bans are really good from Fnatic, I feel. With the Death Prophet and the Terrorblade, they also take away a lot of that tower pushability. Something that Liquid, I think, part of the reason why OG and Liquid are so successful, both of them, is because they're so very good at pushing down towers and taking the early game lead and the map control. And by removing these heroes, you sort of take away that opportunity for Liquid.
I don't understand the Slark ban though. I would say Slark would be really good for Liquid in this game already.
Yeah.
Comboing with Darkseer and Earth Spirit, like they can just run around and kill literally anyone they want.
And again, the vision that Slark can provide with the scouting is just so good for them, as we saw in the highlight. But I mean, if it goes to form here, they'll probably pick a rather safe or tanky mid-hero for Fata, like the Alchemist or the Dragon Knight, as well as looking for their hard support. Disruptor is a good possibility for them here.
Yep. It's been very popular in the patch before.
And Kura's great at executing with Disruptor.
Although that's one of the really great luxuries that they have as a team is that both Kuro and Jerax play that hero as a high level. So depending on what they want to drive. Oh man, this is another hero that we've seen so many teams. Obviously, the biggest combo with it is the Lifestealer. But again, just for the vision that it can provide and denying the other team using their jungle freely.
But if I was Fnatic right now, I would go aggressive because they have a fucking Earth Spirit, Ricky as supports. They can't do anything to help the safe laner. And if they just go aggressive, like you can shut down Matumbaman really hard, whatever hero he gets.
Reserve time.
So what do you like in terms of creating that aggressive potential here, in terms of a core pick?
I think maybe something like Dazzle, like the snowball combo. Okay. You snowball in, Dazzle heal bomb.
So you're gonna pick your second support because the other team is committed to both supports. You're gonna pick your second support as Fnatic here.
It's either now or the next one.
Yeah, you can leave it till the end, surely though now, don't you?
It depends if you're high rated or not, because they can still ban one out.
Yeah. I guess if you've got 2 or 3 in mind, then you leave it till the end because you know they can only ban one.
They might want to counterpick the Disruptor though, because
Yeah,
right now
I like
the like one thing we've also seen is like the combo of Ricky and Disruptor in team fights, just so much.
But if they pick Disruptor right now, they have to put Earth Spirit on core, and I don't think
Yeah, they won't
they're gonna do that at all.
That's true. That's true. So
Dazzle pick, good call.
Team Liquid's turn to pick.
Like they should aggressive like with this lineup, like these three.
So
Yeah,
they're gonna
put-
pick up the
put a
Dragon Knight now
strong safe
for
laner.
Liquid.
I think the Dragon Knight or Alchemist fits pretty well here. I mean, Matamba, this is one of the strengths of Liquid is that they can
10 seconds
It's almost
remaining.
interchangeable, but Matumbleman has the wider hero pool of their two remaining
5
core
seconds
positions, so they
remaining.
usually are going to leave his hero for last.
Reserve
The only thing
time.
that's worrisome is the Darkseer Ricky combo. It's the most annoying thing to play against. Like,
Kuro
it's so
used to call
obnoxious.
this the IQ test. Remember when he used to pick Darkseer and Bounty Hunter? He'd Ion Shell on the Bounty Hunter and see if they noticed that they're taking
Yeah.
damage.
Sometimes you just die without knowing, like, what happened?
Now they're thinking about this a little longer than I expected.
I really dislike the opening. Liquid, it shows so much, and you don't gain much out of it.
They do have a lot of melee already.
I think the big thing though is that when you have as many different rotations configured as they do with Jerax's Earth Spirit, you can get away with showing a little more information because they have a lot of different rotational sets that they'll employ with him early on, and so it's like you know a little bit less about how they're going to play, even though you may know what the lanes will be.
Yeah. I might pick a Celebrate with this to have like somewhat of secured safe lane.
Yeah, the fact that they've thought about this so long makes me wonder if this is just going to be
10
Matumba's hero now.
seconds remaining.
They don't pick Scylla now, they're probably gonna ban it on Fnatic.
Phantom Assassin.
Okay, yeah.
Or that.
Again,
Interesting.
possibly
Turn
the
to
most significant buff in terms of heroes. Phantom Assassin's Blink Strike in 6.88 now works against magic immune targets, so the BKB carriers, she counters them a little bit more now.
Isn't the dagger so pure now? Or
That's
something
been
like
for a
that?
while.
Yeah, it's been for a while though.
remaining.
The big thing, right, in the last patch, last couple patches, is that the
5
dagger now
seconds
places
remaining.
attack buffs, so you can cleave
Yeah.
with it.
I just remember my pops. You have a double Battlefield PA just daggering, killing the
Reserve
entire
time.
team just with his dagger.
How many PAs do we see in Manila? Is it 1 or 2?
It was a couple. I know Complexity ran it for Chessie
Yeah.
at least once.
I think Fnatic could pick up the Dragon Knight for themselves and sort of take that early game control
It's
due
just-
to Liquid what they didn't want them to do upon them.
It's kind of not a Fnatic hero though.
I think Invoker
They're going to look for
would be
like
really well. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, the band.
Invoker's
they
banned.
banned it.
Invoker's ban, unfortunately, that would be what you'd go to for mid one. Mid one's also played. He had some problems on Ember Spirit early on, but they're going to go right for the Mushi Medusa. This is again Medusa and Terrorblade, the two heroes whose stock just shot up in Manila. And Fnatic was one of the first teams to show them, and of course, eventually played them together.
I really like his pick actually. Like I don't see Liquid fighting Fnatic at all. Like Liquid has to make a lot of chaos in this game. You can't have a straight up game with heroes like this.
10 seconds remaining.
That's a really good Drow ban, by the way. They showed the Drow look Fnatic did in the one game that they won yesterday.
Oh,
Fnatic's turn to pick.
So this is going to be mid one's hero, and this could be an Ember Spirit. Invoker, as we said, was banned.
I'd say Puck for Fata.
yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's fallen out of favor a bit, but
10
it
seconds
combos
remaining.
really
It's
well with the
really
lineup
well,
they have right
yeah.
now.
Everything goes well Puck here.
Yeah.
5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
I guess we could also see a PL here out of them.
He's kinda greedy with Dusa.
It's just a matter. I look more at right now at the heroes that the mid one's comfortable playing, and they've run PL with Dusa before, mostly because they're just so confident fighting in the mid game with Stone Gaze before the heroes are necessarily even that far. Okay, they jug. This is actually a much better pick. I should have
Team
listened.
Liquid's turn to pick.
It's actually so hard for Liquid to fight them.
So you guys like the Puck. I think the DK or Alchemist are still a strong possibility, but yeah, the Puck feels like it.
I feel like
balances their lineup.
they need something to crowd control them. They need
10
something that
seconds
just
remaining.
jumps in and like sets up with the Darkseer.
Yeah, and they can't afford doing the long extended fights either because of all the heal coming out from Fnatic already, so they do need to initiate on Fnatic and catch them by surprise.
Yeah, okay.
Or go for the very late game.
I think Fnatic picked way better than Liquid this game.
Yeah, I think I actually like Fnatic's draft a bit better right now. I think that the Medusa has a chance of winning that lane against the Alchemist.
Right, okay, thank you all three of you. We are going to hear more, of course, from our panel after our first game of the day. But now time to join our commentary team. Got a bit of a surprise for you. Not one, not two, but three commentators, led by the one and only Toby1.
Thanks a lot, Red. Yes, I am joined by my esteemed colleagues, Pycat as well as Blitz. There's almost too much knowledge at this desk. I don't know how we really approach it. Compared to the panelists, like it's so much better up here.
No, yeah. The panel has Bambo. You can't really beat that. That guy is.
Can you not? The panel was saying like everyone was beating Bambo.
I mean, the thing is though, they have Melk also to level it out though, and Nahas.
Oh, so it does work out.
That's true. Overall. That's true. It's not even the Haas into the equation. It's all about just Jacob. All right, so we get to start off our game. Fnatic versus Liquid. The panelists were moving a little bit more towards the side of Fnatic, even though most people were saying, hey, it's the slider on the Dire side, which is going to be better. What do you boys think?
I think Liquid's lineup heavily revolves around the Roshan. That's what the PA pick is going to be useful for. I think PA almost always gives you the option of Rosh, but the problem is I don't know how they easily enter the pit. They don't have the team fight to be able to really get into a straight 5-on-5 engagement. So a lot of this has to come down to both the laning phase and just these mini pickoffs more than anything.
Yeah, I feel like it's a bit strange because they're doing both this Riki and the Earth Spirit. They kind of, to some extent, fill the same role. You want to have this Earth Spirit or this Riki run around with this Darkseer, so they don't actually have any solid support for this PA, so the Slaughter should have a decent lanes up. And it's kind of hard for them to pressure Juggernaut bottom, so I think Fnatic, the draft is more clear. What they want to do.
I think when it just comes to pure execution, it's going to be a lot easier for Fnatic to just 5-man down the lane as soon as the Medusa gets any bit of farm. It's hard for Liquid to do anything to straight up stop that. Their only wave clear really comes down to the acid spray, and maybe the Darkseer can just send Ion creep. But I don't really think you have anything other than that. So it's really going to come down to the mid game, finding vision with the Riki, finding these one-off pickoffs, and how quickly it takes for Fnatic to just say, screw this, we're just going to go for the 5-man.
Is Liquid actually being ready by the time Fnatic's ready to go? Because obviously you got Fada, you got a mid-Alchemist. Like, this is a lot of money still coming the way of Team Liquid as time goes by.
It's hard to say. Yeah, it's like Liquid, they need to do really well in the lanes, I feel. Because if they don't do well in the lanes, they're not going to have their item timings when Fnatic are going to start pushing. And I think it's going to be really scary for them. If they don't have their Radiance at this 13-minute mark or something, 13-14, it's gonna get really tricky for them, I think.
Oh, we'll see if they can get there. For now, it's just straight up laning phase, so mind control. He's able to stay very close towards Mushi as well as 3-4-3. 3-4-3 is not really going to be able to zone him out here. The mid lane matchup of mid one, the Juggernaut going up against Alchemist. Even though Fada is sick at the moment, he should still be having a pretty good lane there. And up towards the top lane, Kuro's been all up in the face of Ohio. But thanks to that sentry what Ohio put down very early on, Kuro's having to burn through a lot of his consumables.
Yeah, just not the best situation for Riki. Because you can't fully zone out Ohio, and because they don't really have kill potential without the Earth Spirit there, he's not really too afraid. As soon as he grabs that level 2, he should be fine in this lane, and with it pushing up, he's going to grab that really easily.
I love that little side pull that Jirax was able to do, just a straight boulder through with the Earth Spirit to pull the wave down. It's still the easiest pull in the world to do it, but
I feel like Kuro has his work cut out for him this game. It's like he doesn't really have any clear lane to gank. It's not really easy for him to make any rotations. Up on this top, yeah, like the sentry, it's kind of spotting him out. He's gonna realize it now, and he's probably gonna either have to buy a sentry to get rid of that one, or he has to rotate to a different lane.
Mind control, he's kind of trapped in here for a little bit. He's gonna surge himself out. There's still only a level 1 surge. Mushi wants to keep on his tail. 3-4-3 went for the Shadow Wave to start with, so no poison touch control. So he'll back out the bottom lane.
I think that is why they opted to put the Juggernaut mid, just because that hero's ungankable. Like, Liquid don't even think about that lane anymore.
DJ.
Yeah, and it's not only the fact that they have the Juggernaut mid, it's also that he's against an Alchemist.
This was like first blood right now. The kick's gonna come through. Fighter gonna body block him. Kuro actually started all of this up by starting his body blockers. An invisible force, mid one, looking for some revenge. Into the spin, Kuro trying to bounce around the tree line, wants to go invis, attacks once, actually slowing him down, turns on for the cloud, mid one, retreating out now, there is no kick available, and with the shots flying forward, Fighter is gonna get isolated up by DJ. He'll have to run the long way around, but DJ, no Orb of Venom even with boots, so he cannot really pressure the Alchemist too heavily.
They're gonna have to do that every single time if they want to pick up a kill. You have to rotate both supports, and that's just gonna weaken your lanes overall. Is now they leave this top lane for the Slardar to pick up a little bit more farm, and he's already up to 7 CS with a full wave coming in.
Yeah, the one thing though that's a bit strange is that Mushi's only sitting at 6 CS. He must have been getting quite pressured by these early Iron Shells by the Darkseer, but I don't think he should be so low right now. We see Matumba Man is already doubling him.
I think what he's trying to do is help out the Dazzle, because Dazzle isn't the best hero at zoning. He's got level 1 Shadow Wave, can't really do anything with that, so trying to make sure that Mind Control doesn't have a free time of it, but Mind Control's still getting a decent amount of CS.
Yeah, he's still up to his level 3, right?
Yeah, that's all you really need on the Darkseer.
Well, you'll have to go all the way back to base. At least being able to stay in the lane, like instead of being like KP who has to sit inside the jungle with Iron Talon forever. So, upside, Liquid gonna rotate again, both the supports up, but they're rotating the Ricky Maru into a place where Liquid, like they understand Vision's there, the double crush from Ohio, Kuro's right behind him, but can he get close enough? There goes his smoke screen, but Ohio, the sprint and the boots, he'll get back underneath his own tier 1 tower.
Yeah, it's a 3-man, like it's a 2-man rotation from both supports going up there, and we still see the Slardar. He's still level 4, he has boots, he has stick, he has close CS. He's doing just fine in this lane. Yeah, and those rotations, it's so hard for them to pull them off.
They just don't have any burst damage in this lane. There's no real way for them to get the kill. He's almost always going to be able to get the stun off. They just don't have that kind of disable to pair with things. And Mind Control, you're talking about how offlaners often just go for the Iron Talon. Can't really afford to do that right now. Your lanes are so weak as is. You can't really afford your Alph to get harassed by the 2 supports. And DJ's going to play that roaming role anyways. So it's important for him to sit down here, try to disrupt the Medusa's farm, delay whatever timings that you can.
It's Fnatic's turn to rotate heroes as well. So DJ as well as 343 have come to the top lane. Kuro is at least able to scout out Ohio's movement, but he's doing that very obviously by pulling down the dire creep wave. You're also got a missing hero. Fada is he was off into the jungle and now he's heading all the way back home. So mid lane is also uncontested. Mid one's just farming out quite freely. But you're still got a 25 CS Alchemist early on.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, some of those are new jewels though, I think. And the thing is, like, they wanna put this Alchemist in the jungle.
343. They know he's in there. They'll kick him back up right in front of the ward. Shallow Grave has to be used defensively. Sentries also can be planted, so that ward does not last much longer. Also, lets Kuro know the Fnatic have detection on the lane. Okay, how do you get that hero kill before Shallow Grave kicks in?
You almost can't. You've got to use the kick into the smoke screen right on top, but even then, you have enough time to walk out. The Slardar, if he positions himself well, can always get the stun off, and it just kind of makes it impossible for anybody to die up here.
You need to get the silence on the
They want to go again? Like, look at how far up Ohio is. Jurek able to walk in behind the lane. Like, you start with a crush, you switch into sprint, and Jurek just doesn't want to commit the mana.
You look, they have all 3 heroes up there. They see where the Slardar is. They know that there's no supports up there, and they're still not willing to go. And that just kind of shows you the situation that Liquid is in. And when we were working together at Manila, it was always kind of that thing, are we being a little bit too greedy? And in this kind of game, it's going to be a little bit difficult.
It feels very greedy. Moments like that when Kuro's able to steal bounty runes, however, that makes it a little... I'm not going to say it makes it any better at all, but it's something at least gets the Ricky up to level 3.
Nah, he's laughing right now. That's like his favorite moment, when he just screws over the mid laner. He just like chuckles to himself and doesn't say anything.
I don't think mid one's really that concerned though. Like, this is still a 31-15 CS, like Juggernaut. Your Medusa's still having a free time. It's 23 denies to Mushi on that bottom lane, throttling the wave out with 30 last sets, even if it wasn't that great to start with.
So we talked about this at Bootcamp Podcast, the concept of mid-Juggernaut. Like, it came up once or twice where Fada thought that it was pretty good, and we gave up on the idea pretty quickly, but we saw Manila Major. It did come up quite a bit. What do you feel like is the reason for that?
I actually think that mid-Juggernaut is against Team Liquid. I think it's really good, because most of the heroes that Team Liquid plays are those heroes that, you know, there's no Queen of Pain, there's no Puck or these heroes that can kind of deal with this Juggernaut in the lane and sort of punish him. It's these some Dragon Knight and Alchemists. They don't really do much to this Juggernaut, and then he can later on just scale into becoming such a strong hero as well in the game, and also the spin allows him to play really cocky in the lanes.
Yeah, we're seeing that already. He's pretty much, there's no mid laner that plays like this, where you're hitting a tier 1 tower under another hero.
Yeah, when you know Kuro's right on top of you.
Yeah, exactly. But he knows they don't have burst damage. There's nothing that an Alk really does for you when it comes to the laning phase, and I think he reads that situation perfectly.
It's like Fnatic were also trying to force the situation. Like they brought 4 heroes into that mid lane just to... It's almost like they're waiting for Fada to return.
I think the correct move right now for Liquid is to try to assault this bottom lane.
Oh,
And
they're
that's
going
exactly what they're going to do.
Boulder forward, over towards Mushi. The smoke screen is up. Mushi's shield's going to protect him for a while, but he can't TP him, Matumba. Well, there goes your crit. And there goes Mushi.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Liquid have in this game is they're gonna have this timing where when this Darkseer, when he gets level 7, they're gonna have all of these melee heroes. And like this PA and the Riki, they have these blink strikes. The Earthbird, he has the boulder, so he can get on top of targets. And they can just shell everyone up, and then they just run at Fnatic, before this Duza has any items. Before Duza has any of her ultimate orbs or any stat items, the hero is quite weak. It dies pretty fast, and they have silence on the Earthbird. So that timing is gonna be when they're gonna look to kind of take over the game, I think.
I think the one downside of that, though, is that the Slardar is still getting unbelievable farm right now. If you're a Slardar that didn't have to go Irontown jungle, and you have 27 CS at 8 minutes, you're incredibly happy with how the laning phase went. He's picked up a good amount of levels, and his Blink Dagger timing is really going to determine a lot for me.
And isn't that actually just like feeding a big problem as well for Liquid? Like, I know you can't stop it, like they tried to come and gank up the top lane, but once the Slaughter joins the fray, this kind of passive push, which was seen from Fnatic, turns into a team fight they have to be ready for. It looks like the arm, at least from Fada, will be completed by that point.
He's going to need it to survive against Alzara. The amp damage doing so much. And Ohio stealing a lot of these creeps.
Yeah,
It's going to come on through, but
it's a little too late from Jirax. And Ohio may even, well, I don't think he really wants to, like, really turn to this one. Reveals the fact that Kuro's now up on the top lane. The rest of Fnatic want to gank a different lane. It's down towards the bottom with a 3-man smoke maneuver from DJ343 and mid one. And it's just Mushi slowly chipping away at the building. They don't find it, but now they might finally do something about this farming up Alchemist. The illusion of the Tuskar reveals him.
if he walks the stack, and I think that might actually be their timing. But Matama Man is an even easier kill here.
Snowball forward, they hold back, down the shadow wave, kick through. Tubman able to just strike himself up towards that range creep and away to safety.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, I feel like both teams their rotations are quite inefficient right now. I mean, Fnatic, maybe they can get this tower now, which I feel they need, but you saw like Liquid, they rotated top, there are 3 heroes top, and this Slaughter is just looking at them. He amps 2 of them, he just runs away, and then he goes mid and farms. Now, Fnatic, they're going bottom, and they're trying to gank this PA. Both teams have a really hard time killing heroes through pickups in this game.
Maybe if they can maybe
Top lane. Yeah, Ohio gonna get the crush. He may not even need a TP. When he gets the early bash, plus having the amplification, they find the kill. They got a little bit of a friend nearby, but with the boulder from Jirax, the catapult was chasing him out, but he just TPs away to safety. So Fnatic take the tier 1 tower in bottom lane. They get a revenge kill onto like the more prioritized farmed Darkseer. And now they can pressure the top lane.
I sort of think if Fnatic were just a little bit more patient though, they could have just gone to the Ancient Camp and killed the Alchemist instead of trying to go for that PA. And although it ultimately kind of works out because they take the tower and they kill the Darkseer up at top anyways, I just think it's a little bit inefficient, like Pikeette said. So,
Kuro, the spin, and really low. Gets himself out of harm's way. Mid one will get away, and now with the extra help, Tubman comes in, slowing down mid one. He's trying to retreat. The magic wand charges. Are they going to be enough? He gets back up the tower, up the high ground. The strike doesn't do a crit, so there's not enough damage to find the kill. Tubman, they're getting crushed up by Ohio. Mid one, he's going to omni-side six, double hits onto Tubman. Only one inside the creep wave, and that's going to be enough to kill off the PA.
Dire's top tower.
Yeah, and if the PA, I think if he had more points in Phantom Strike, he might have lived there. He might have been able to blink back to the Darkseer.
Still a good pickoff for Fnatic. At the same time, Bada continues to get near free farm. He cleared up that ancient stack. Like you said, he's well on his way to his Radiance timing, and that's exactly what they need, because you need something that can creep cut, and with Fnatic's type of lineup, Paquette, I don't feel like this is a lineup that wants to deal with split push. I think this is a lineup that essentially just wants to run at you.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm interested to see what the mid one buys here. If he's gonna go for a Battle Fury, or if he's going to go in for something more along the lines of, I don't know, Manta Diffusal.
Oh, mind control. Gets locked up by the shards. They're going to snowball in very deep underneath that tier 1 tower. Mid 1 mind control still able to get back to the tier 2 tower as Jirax turns on the Magnetize, forcing Fnatic back, but reinforcements have arrived for the fall of Mushi. They really want this mid tower down. Jirax with the stun, attempting the denial. It was just a fraction of a second too early, and Kuro's going to be careful. He looks to come in from behind, but the Radiant Sentry wards it down on both the north and the south poles of that mid-river entrance. But he's not going to walk through it, and Fnatic are just happy with the tower. They're moving up top to stop Fada from pushing.
Yeah, do you know why the Juggernaut was so scared of committing to that?
I'm not sure, because there's not a whole lot that they can
The
do
switch
to
is
kill
just
him.
down, right?
Yeah, and at the same time, Mushi was coming in. They've got a sentry ward, so they know where
And the Dazzle
the
is
Ricky
mid.
is. Yeah, exactly.
It could be a fallout as well from their Groupstage performance. They were having a lot of problems with initiation, just having it clean cut. So maybe they're looking to be a little bit more defensive today.
Yeah, something I noticed too, whenever we used to play against Fnatic is they were never really on their A game, and I think there's a little bit of fear there.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you play against a team like Liquid that has consistently beat you.
DJ, a little bit of trouble. Smoke's going to come in. TP support's on the way. It's in the form of Medusa, Kuro, amplified and crushed up, so the Ricky Mario will drop. It actually isolates mid one on the top lane who preps his spin. Fada, I don't know if he actually wants to do anything with this, and in fact he won't. Or can't, yet.
Something I noticed too is it's going to be really hard for Liquid to kill the healing ward in this game. The only way that you're really going to be able to do it is once Bada grabs a Manta, and if you can sneak around, that's literally the only way that they can do it. Or you all in with the Ricky or the Earth Spirit, but you don't want to do that with those two heroes.
Yeah, it's very difficult to kill the healing ward for them for sure. That's what happens when you have too many melee heroes.
You don't think 5 melees, right?
Jirax just played that.
Now the PA, if you can blink onto the spinning Juggernaut or something, you know,
And get the outplay going. So he all in commits to die for that. That's a blink dagger Slardar. He has more net worth than Mushi does, man.
He's had himself a great time up on the top lane. Everyone else is rotating, they don't find a kill, they walk over to, what, jungle? Like, you're iron shelling a Ricky Marius who can farm up a small camp. That's what you're pushed into now as Team Liquid.
And Mushi feels quite poor actually. He's only at 80 CS, and he had pretty much free farm more or less. He was ganked once, but still.
Yeah, and it's a hard hero to kill in the first place. I think after that first death, he was just playing a little bit too cautiously, and the laning phase for him, whenever you're playing that core position and your laning phase doesn't go well like that, I think you just play a little bit more different. But this is what we talked about, right? When Fnatic are going to decide to go for the 5-man, and it's arrived.
Yep, they start pushing into the tier 2 tower. Mid one on the front lines, Mushi behind, and the 3-man who was smoked up. They're now going to have the Observer Wall, but they do not see Kuro coming in from behind until he walks underneath the sentry. It was only for a short period of time, so they shot, they blocked the pull, they got the dust off, so a little bit too far on the blink for the crush, but Kuro still amplified and displayed. He'll be able to blink himself over to Mind Control, who just walked over a little bit. But they're playing on the back lines. At least now the Die can get rid of that Radiant Observer Ward straight away and maybe defend this tier 2 tower, or at least get some rebuttal kills. Underneath the Asprey, mid one looking to hang around the Asia Crush. They find Mataman straight at the Omni Slash. He blinks up and away, meaning they don't find a kill straight off. The kick is nice from Jirax, getting a little bit more space. Same with the Magnetizer. Fnatic just want to bail out of here. They got the tower. They're not going to take the fight.
Healing Ward plus Shadow Wave, there's almost no way that Fnatic are going to get engaged on at that point. They still have Mushi's ultimate to commit if they need. And Liquid, I think that was kind of okay because they grabbed the tier 1 tower atop in exchange for that tier 2 that was going to fall anyways. And most importantly, like you're pointing out, Pycat, they've got the Radiance on the outskirts.
Yeah. The timing it's pretty good still. I think it was around the 15-minute mark, TP back. And I actually feel like Liquid, they survived their early game. They did quite well. Better than I expected them to.
Even with 4 towers going down?
Even with 4 towers going down, they only have... Fnatic only has 3 kills, and they have good timings. I mean, Matoma Man, he's also working on his Battle Fury. I feel at some point Liquid are just gonna be able to split up in different lanes with the Alchemist Radiance, the Darkseer Shells, and the PA with Battle Fury, and just push the waves. And that's gonna be troublesome for Fnatic.
Fnatic, they're going to come into a fight right now, catching out G-Rex. They failed initiation over on Ohio, which leaves G-Rex completely stranded. Kuro was being that walking ward for Team Liquid. But they missed the jump. They couldn't get the initiation before the blink was able to come off from Slaughter. Ohio, they just turn. Easy 1 kill.
Yeah, he's pinging Mushi right now in this mid lane, but Kuro has almost no way to kill him.
Who's going to come to help?
Come?
Does PA really even have enough damage? It looks like with a Battle Fury build coming out from Atonement, he's not ready to fight yet.
Yeah, there's no way that they're going to be able to kill her. Her team is close enough, but like Pycat said and we pointed out earlier, Fnatic's lineup doesn't want to deal with split push. They don't want to deal with these heroes pushing out the side lanes. They don't want to counter push the side lanes and show vision with heroes like the Medusa, because the downside of Medusa when she has treads, she's so immobile. She's not going to be able to meet the rest of her team, so her team naturally has to go to her.
Yeah, I was actually thinking previously, does the Dusa buy phase boots in this game? What do you think?
I think phase or travels, just because you represent all your strength. Whenever Dusa shows up on the lane, you know there are going to be 4 heroes backing her up.
Under attack.
And Ohio is going back for Midas now. I think this is a good pickup.
Sentry's down from Liquid. Fada's going to move himself forward. They will, well, it's just Liquid even, well, they're able to hold the line. Fnatic are going to take out the Ancient Stack while they're here.
There is zero chance that Liquid are going to take any sort of fight right under the tower like that, especially when Fnatic are all set up, because there's no way for them to initiate. If you look at their team, there's no clean initiation like Fnatic has with the Slardar stun or the Tusk Snowball. Everything is theoretical. You have to Darkseer vacuum into a kick or into a smoke screen. It's not clean.
How do you even do that when a Darkseer is only walking around? He's still trying to complete the mech. He doesn't have a blink or a force. So you're not going to get that back initiation.
I think most of this game Pycat comes down to just let your Alchemist farm in a game like this.
Yeah, I was just about to say, and Fada is farming. He's finding his farm for sure. He has Yasha. He's gonna be about 2k away from his Menta after he finishes Snick Camp.
What do you do in a position like this when
Yep. They end up catching out the Darkseer. They were just waiting for that for such a long time, even after the Observer Ward got de-warded on the hillside. And the creep waves continue to push in, and now Fnatic will finally finish up this Ancient Stack.
What do you think, Roche?
They're gonna go in for Roche relatively soon. They might take out the tier 2 bottom just so that it's gonna be much harder for Liquid to defend. The way I see this game going though is, and this is where I like this Midas pickup from the Slaughter, is there's gonna be Liquid, they're gonna split the map up, they're gonna try to push the lanes. Fada is gonna be the one finding a lot of farm, and the rest of them, they're kinda gonna fall off, I think, to some extent. And so Slaughter buying a Midas ensures he's gonna keep scaling. The Juggernaut and the Dusa, regardless of how much items they have, they're still gonna scale because of the Dazzle's Weave and the Slaughter's Amp. So it's gonna be a lot up to Fada, and then what he can do with the net worth that he can get.
Yeah, I completely agree with that assessment, just because that's how we looked at Slaughter at Manila as well. It's an enabler for your other cores. It's never going to be that high damage dealing hero on its own, but it turns all these cores that would normally be semi-carries like the Juggernaut into these hard scaling late game heroes. But Fada has so much net worth in this game right now. He's almost got the next 2 heroes' net worth combined. He's going to do this Ancient camp, and they're even going to find the ward here. And that's important for Liquid right now. Denying vision, making it difficult for Fnatic to push up high ground, blind, and especially around this Roche pit area. Because that's where Fnatic want to go next if they're going to ever go for the high ground.
It's kind of interesting too how heavily Fnatic committed Observer Wards around there. Like they had most of their obs and their sentries committed around aggressively around the Secret Shop and behind the tier 2 tower. Because they also wanted to take that tier 2 tower, but they refused the fight to Liquid multiple times.
Radiant's top
I
tower
think
is under
the
attack.
big thing right now for Liquid is just keep the pace of the game going right now. There's no real pressure on them to take any fights because they always have this Alchemist. And whenever you're playing this kind of style of Dota where you sit back, you allow Fada to farm, you're going to be happy because Fada can sense how much farm he has right now. That's the one thing with every core, is now it becomes his game. It's less about what Kuro can call and more about what your core say.
Does that then put pressure on Fnatic to actually do something? Like, can they just keep the status quo?
I mean, Fnatic wanna constantly in this game. They just wanna keep pushing. They wanna take these towers as soon as possible. But now, the issue is, the Tomberman has Battle Fury, so now he can start dealing damage. He can push out waves, he can be a threat to towers. So if they're grouping up as 5 and they're pushing, and there's an Alchemist with Radiance, there's an Essence Ray, if they're not taking those towers fast enough, this PA is gonna be dealing more structural damage than they are.
That's actually exactly what's happening right now. Like this top tower with a catapult wave behind, it's almost down to 500 HP, while the bottom tower for Liquid is still sitting at 780. They just can't force their way directly into the buildings yet.
I know a lot of people are going to be confused as to why Fnatic are continuing to do this, but you don't want to disengage off this push. After doing all this work, what are you going to do? You're going to send a hero top, then you give up on this bottom tower push. Liquid will push it out with their Alchemist, continue to farm that Ancients, and that's the one benefit, is that Fnatic are denying the Ancient camps, they're making it hard for Liquid to go for the jungle, but at the same time, you're just allowing PA to get farmed, and it's an awkward situation when you have a hero like Dusa.
Yeah, I think they definitely have to commit to this bottom tower. The thing is, whenever you're trading Radiance tier 2 for Dire's tier 2, it's always favorable to take out the Dire's tier 2 tower, because that means you get access to Roche, and it means that you can't just TP to this tower. If you die, you buy back. You can't TP to that tower. You don't have that vision around the Roche anymore. So some of the Dire's advantage is kind of mitigated.
Yeah, it's completely that hill area that makes it whether or not Liquid can go for that easy Roshan, and once they lose vision of that area, like Paquette says, it becomes really difficult for them to contest or go for it on their own. But I think this is where Liquid have opened up the map. They know that Fnatic are going to split up, take a little bit of farm because they can sense that they're getting behind. But again, no clean initiation for them.
Oh, Tusker, however, Alchemist is going to find a kill up on him, up on top lane, but it was the river where they started the fight. Ohio jumps in with that fresh gem over on the Slanner. They're able to see the Rikimaru. The 3-4-3 defensively has to actually put up that shallow grave. Omni-Slash trying to kill off Mind Control, taking Ricky with him, not going to be possible. Matumman caught inside the trees, but in comes Sparta. Concoction's done over in Ohio. They hold in position, and Ohio's going to go down. The gem is lost. Mushi couldn't pick it up in time. In fact, it got stolen. And now it's a triple kill for Fada. The Alchemist is on a rampage. The kick will come through. It'll connect over on Mushi. He's losing his life. He's losing his mana. He's lost everything. An ultra kill for Fada. And the lineup, which has been so patient from Team Liquid, has finally paid off. 4 hero kills, not to mention some towers.
The pace of the game was slowed down completely. Fnatic just thought that Liquid weren't looking for a fight this entire game, and all of a sudden Liquid just jump out like gangbusters.
I mean, Fada might be sick, but he is also a sick Alchemist.
Oh my, that was so bad.
I had to, you know?
You had to pull it off at least once.
That's right, we'll get you to the point where you have my level of self-control so you stop saying silly stuff.
I mean, he looks fine right now. Like, his play hasn't suffered at all. Like, he's still just farming along, and that is pretty devastating for Fnatic's lineup, because I don't think Fnatic thought they were going to lose a fight like that throughout this game. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was attributed to this ward that's about to expire in 20 seconds up on the around the Radiant's secret shop. This ward, it allowed Fada to get a solo kill on this Tusk because he saw what was going on the other side. And he just gets this solo pick off on this Tusk, and without that Tusk, when the Slaughter goes down, there's nothing Fnatic can do. They can't catch anyone. You saw this Dusa, she's just running around. She tries to attack people, but they just run away. She has nothing. If she's alone, this hero does nothing.
I'm still wondering too just how Fnatic even pull themselves back into a strong position of a fight. Like, it took that long to take out just a tier 2 tower on the bottom lane up against Liquid's defense. How do you win a fight? Or if we even get so far ahead of ourselves, how do they even attack the high ground against Liquid now that they got this farm in this position on the heroes?
It's difficult just because now you're a little bit more demoralized. During that time period where it did take you a really long time to farm, the Alchemist just continues to push things out.
They get triggers, Lincolns, but this is just Jirax and Kuro. These guys don't have damage. It'll only help if Matumman came off the lane, but Ohio, well, there's your crush. Amplification as well, mid one. He wanted to go straight to an Omni-Slash, unable to do so thanks to the Cloud. Shards are flying forward, Fada's going to get the stun over on Ohio. You'll, well, there's no dodging away from this. The spin already being committed by mid one.
You pointed out, by the way, Pycat, they're committing so much to Ohio. They're making sure that if they're going to go on any hero, it's going to be the Slardar. To just try to pick them off, make it difficult for Fnatic to lock down.
On the jump, the Blink Crush over on Matumman. Omni-Slash trying to kill off Fada. Is it going to be possible to defuse the blade? He jumps up, they find the kill. Mushi turning on the Stone Gaze. He's at least able to lock in mind control as well as G-Rex, allowing the crush on Matumban with a 3-man isolation to the left. He almost does enough damage to find the kill. Thanks to the one charge, 3-4-3 will survive, but the Aegis see more triggers and Matumban is back to life, looking for some revenge. Over to mid one, finds the crit, thanks to the smoke screen. Mid one can't just run himself away from this one, or can he? Matumban keeping up with the fight. Mushi, he's still standing as well with 11 one charges up his sleeve. He'll need trigger these, or maybe he just TP's out in time. Yes, he will get out. Scrappy fights. But it still looks like Liquid are in control on this bot lane.
They had to commit the buyback though for the Alchemist, and I think Fada said, okay, the Jug ultimate's down, nothing's really going to be able to stop us, but it looked a little bit weird because Matumba Man just wasn't really willing to commit for that fight, even with the Aegis.
Yeah, and I also thought that Fada would go for the Slaughter there at the end. He had the stun and was channeling, and I thought he would go for the Slaughter, which would have netted them at least one more kill. Now he buys back, they only get the Juggernaut, and they lost Aegis on the PA. So good fight for Fnatic, and this is where you see what this lineup can do. Sure, the net worth is 10,000 ahead of for Liquid, but when you have a Slaughter, when you have a Dazzle, you can never count those two heroes out, just because of how much they do in this, you know, the physical damage. They just buff your own team or negate the other team's armor so much.
I think a big thing there as well is that Liquid got completely separated. They had 3 heroes on one side of the fight. They had Fada run completely on his own. He tanked up the entire Juggernaut ultimate with that Slaughter amp on him. And at the same time, you had the PA going in on the north side. And so it just made things really wonky. And Liquid were never really able to take a proper fight.
Kuro just walks underneath an Obs and a Sentry ward. It's going to reveal the fact he tried to get an aggressive Obs ward down. So a simple pick. So how do you avoid that situation if you're Liquid? How do you avoid being split?
I think it's just communication.
Yeah, and Liquid need to have Matumba Man, especially when he has the Aegis. He has to be the one in front. Fada they can't lose the Alchemist hero. He wants to be sending in these illusions, keep the fight going, make more damage with this Earth Spirit, get his ult out, and just keep burning them with this Radiance and Stifling Daggers, whatnot. Liquid want to have these long fights. If they lose this Alchemist, the fight is just pretty much over, unless he commits a buyback.
Yeah, he's our only real frontliner too. If you look at their lineup, he's the only person that can really tank for them. So for him to go down early on in the fight without really getting full use of his ultimate out, can't do it. He does have the Octarine now, and that's really going to help his tankiness.
I really dislike this item build coming out of the Duza though.
Going for the Manta?
Both the Lincolns, I don't feel like this is a Lincoln scheme to begin with. I think the Yasha into Skadi with something like face boots, and then you go into MKB. That's kind of what he needs, MKB Butterfly.
Yeah.
The Lincolns, it's cancelled by one Stifling Dagger, one Blink Strike from the Riki, some stun from Alchemists. There are a lot of things to cancel that, and the Manta is just gonna die. It doesn't deal any damage almost, the split shot, these Mantas.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because I think the problem is when you play overly defensive like this in a game as Dusa, you saw what happens. They just ignore Mushi until the end, they isolate him, they play 1-on-5 Dota, then he just kind of goes down without having dealt any sort of damage.
Oh, bottom lane, Matumban making the most out of that Abyssal Blade. Mid-one was still to get the spin off beforehand, then Ohio for the double crush. They turn on the Stone Gaze, Team Liquid. They're in a little bit too deep. The boulder away from G-Rex does get off, and Fada's ready to turn with it back into a 2-man stun. Not going to work, in fact, this time with the Lincoln Sphere. They'll break it off. They have to wait a little bit longer as the chase begins. The snowball is going up after Matumban. The stumble happening. Wants to actually Phantom strike himself away. And now maybe they have enough damage with the Omni Slash. No, Matumban, he's away at 100 HP. Fada's going to stay up here. Ohio being kicked as well. He couldn't get the crush off. The smoke screen down. The perfect time. They've lost the Slaughter. Mid-one. The Shadow Grave's the only thing keeping him alive for the moment. Now the Magnetized. The kick flies forward. He's still up. He'll survive. G-Rex, however, no. He will not let him escape. The blink forward with the stone pulled back. It's Liquid entering the base of Fnatic, finding kills. It looked like they might have been in a little bit of trouble, but a perfect turn from Liquid.
Yeah, and you heard Pycat say, you need this Alchemist to survive throughout the fight. You want him to survive for as long as possible to just be annoying. This time the PA goes in first. He manages to get out with the Blink Strike. Then you saw the Alch do so much work in that team fight.
And the Stifling Dagger, I think what turned that fight around was there was a silence from the Earth Spirit. I don't know what came first, if it was the silence or the smoke screen. Both of them were there, so the Slaughter couldn't get his crush off on the Alchemist, and he died, and there was another hero next to him who couldn't do anything as well. And from that point on, Fnatic just have to run. When they don't have their Slaughter anymore, Fnatic can't fight anymore. So Liquid, what they have to do is just find that slaughter and kill the slaughter, and the fight is more or less over.
Is that when Fnatic just have to buy time so the slaughter can be tankier? Like Ohio's building this BKB, he's running a Midas. Can you even delay the game? Liquid are at a point where they can force things now.
I think you have to, because Liquid still have the next Roshan to go for. You might as well wait for the BKB before you take fights. But it looks like they're just going to smoke anyways.
They've still got some aggressive vision up and running.
Yeah, you always smoke to where vision is, by the way. You never just blindly go to where you think people are. You notice that they go to where their ward is at all times, because it's a very easy way for a team to smoke in blind, get caught off by 4 heroes, and lose the game right there.
They'll also have a slight overlap too if Kuro decides to run up the riverside. But he's going a long way around to try and find Fnatic.
Yeah, they also have the top tower that they can still take. But you see Liquid's wards. There's one in their base. They have this ward, other ward in the jungle. They know bottom lane is not being pushed.
Kuro?
They see mid.
Yeah, Kuro's in a little bit of trouble. The shards are going to fly in, but
Kuro just ran to them anyways.
I don't think he cares at all about this death. He just wants to make sure that, okay, this is where they are. They're not smoked anymore. We found them, you know. This is a Riki. It's a 3k net worth Riki Maru. And he just runs in and dies, and he's fine with that.
Yeah, he's confirming your suspicions, essentially, saying, okay, you guys can continue to push out this bottom lane, and the cores on Liquid are just getting more, just because they can afford to play greedy, they can afford a front line.
But Fnatic have the choice, like, do you keep pushing? Like, you're going for this, it's not like the push they had previously, the tier 2 for tier 2 tower trade, Jirax getting caught out, there's no boulder forward, in fact, to try and force up himself over the pit, but it's not going to happen, so... Another kill coming the way, I'll be going the way of Medusa. Almost 350 gold for that. She's got 4k gold now, so you may still get your Skadi up for Medusa.
And they got the gem now from Jirax. So that was the big thing. Because otherwise, what they're doing, Fnatic, what Liquid are forcing them to do is they're forcing them to run around as 5 all the time. Because they can't really push out the waves against this Earth Spirit and against the Riki. Because there's a chance that they will die at any time. Abyssal as well from the PA. So they're forcing Fnatic to play as 5. And every time Fnatic make a rotation, they have to do it as 5. So Liquid are playing just economical game here against Fnatic, but getting this gem is really crucial because now they can start finding the wards and they don't have to be as scared of the Riki.
Do you reach a point though where Liquid, like, yeah, you're playing the economical game, but Fata can't keep making the most out of this money anymore? And it's not really, well, there's a couple of heroes which can take the Aghanims from him.
I think it's okay though. Like, Alk is just a hard hero for Fnatic to deal with in general, and with the type of net worth lead that he has, it's not like Liquid doesn't continue to scale. They've got a Darkseer who continues to get stronger, who can get a Hex, who can continue to scale. You've got a PA. This hero, especially with the changes to how Blink Strike works against the BKB targets, is almost always going to be effective the later the game goes. I do kind of agree though, Fnatic, their team fight is superior, but it just comes down to the fact that Liquid are getting more out of the map, and at some point the farm disadvantage is going to be enough.
And they're having a look over towards Roshan. It's going to be a quick spawn. Kuro caught a glimpse of it as he went inside the pit. At the same time, Fnatic saw all of Team Liquid moving down.
If they see the Jug at top with the ward, they're going to go in.
I think what Mushi is doing now, he's building this MKB. He is 20 gold away from it. I think this is the make or break sort of item for them. This is... They have the Radiance, the mischance from the Radiance on the Alchemist, there's the smoke screen, and there's the evasion from the PA. So this item on Mushi should help them in the fights a huge amount.
No. You think if they can't win the fight with that, then it's pretty much the Dusa's not going to do anything?
Well, there's the Aegis now in the hands of the PA, so more license to be over-aggressive for Matumberman.
Part of the problem that I'm already seeing is just the fact that Fnatic rely on these heavy cooldowns. They've got mid-one's ultimate, they've got Mushi's ultimate, and if you look at Liquid's lineup, they don't really have to rely on any of their cooldowns. They're liable to re-engage at the drop of a hat. You probably have the buyback available on the Alchemist now too, so as soon as any of the cooldowns go down, he's just going to go for the buyback. And
Fnatic, they jump him, they'll see Kuro, they want him dead quickly, the 4-star up, Kuro be able to survive, jumping into that ultimate, mid-one starts to spin off, they know he can't get away from this one, especially when they put down the extra sentry ward. And Team Liquid are bailing out. They really wanted to get Matumberman there, but they just couldn't get the quick jump.
Fnatic have to get out. That was the Juggernaut ultimate committed just for the Riki.
Yeah, but he does have the Arcane Rune. I think that's the only reason he committed the Omni Slash there, because he does have this Arcane Rune, so it's gonna be up in about 50 seconds.
It's not too bad for him. This all left Fnatic gets a little bit more control of the lanes as Mushi takes care of the top. Fata is going to rotate himself over to the top lane too, so Mushi feeling a lot more confident now he's got the Monkey King bar up. But Jirax and Mind Control, they've gone on a smoke maneuver of their own. Double Iron shelled up, looking for an opening on 3-4-3.
This Alchemist is going to connect with them as well. And they're mainly just looking for the play. They're out. Oh, Jirax knows.
Boulders away to safety.
Yeah, they saw the Medusa up at top. They know that this is a free play for them. There's no way that Mushi can connect to the rest of his team.
There's that BKB timing, so 36 minutes for Ohio to complete that.
The Juggernaut is going Butterfly here. Do you think you should go MKB, or do you think Butter is a better choice?
I don't know. You know what it feels like when you play a core hero and you look at the enemy team and you think, I need so many items. Like, there's no one right decision. You probably know better than this. Like, how do you decide in a game where you just need like 3 different things to succeed? Like, how do you really narrow it down?
I think it's like they already have so many defensive supports, so...
Oh, Mushi gonna have a little bit of help, but Tama getting crushed up. Ohio is actually gonna trigger the BKB so he can find underneath the cloud. The stuns were flying forward, but Tumberman now actually have to turn around as Sparta. Concoction stuns up. Again, the crush is there from Ohio.
A lot of cooldowns.
And they turn on the Stone Gate. Sparta, 4-star forward. They're actually gonna go with the Omni Slash. Sparta is dropping quickly. He needs to bail out here, and a 3-man crush. A follow-up into the Snowball. With a spin from mid one, they create a little bit more space. But Tumberman back in again. Turns on the Abyssal Blade. They won that kill on the Juggernaut. They're only gonna get one, however, over on DJ. But maybe with the jump forward with that crit, mid one, can he survive? No, he cannot. The damage is there from the PA, and they want more. 3-4-3. The stuns are not available, however, so that TP out will be successful. Fnatic getting multiple hero stuns, yet still unable to inflict the damage required to kill off Liquid.
Yeah, and there's going to be no buyback available on that Juggernaut now, and Liquid, they just re-engage him once again. The Tumberman goes in, he's got that Aegis.
He's actually, which he's having a lot of luck too with the Monkey King Bar Stars coming in. Ohio's going to get stunned up by the Concoction. The Alchemist illusions were just burning down the Dazzle. And how does Mushi even try and defend this? Mystic Snake your heart out.
Fnatic just don't have enough damage to deal with these Liquid heroes right now. They invested so much into trying to kill Fada, and then he just regens up with his ult. Yeah, they can kind of try to go on the PA, but he has the Aegis. And this is where I feel like, if the Juggernaut, I don't think he would have actually been able to afford the full MKB. But he needs something like it. They need to be able to burst that one hero down with this Blink Crush and Amp.
God, that jump! 3 hits! Matumberman slaughtering. They're gonna go for more as well. DJ trying to dodge a little bit with his snowball.
Look at them just ignore Mushi. Like, they don't care that he's full health, full mana. They just ignore him. They're going for this tower right under the gaze of the Medusa. It doesn't really seem like they mind him at all, even with the MKB.
They can jump in when he comes down this farm. Gonna try and mana style himself away. Needs more health, however. Matumberman is dropping down low. DJ gonna snowball forward. Picks everyone up. Mid one's in the middle of this fight as well. Mushi inflicts as much damage as possible. He'll have to instantly buy back if they want to defend this bottom lane. Because right now, Liquid have taken way too much off Fnatic. They've already taken their mid racks. They're working on the bot racks. There's Mushi back to life, but all he's got is the Dazzle. And the Dazzle is just not enough.
And we see right there the issue with the Medusa's item build. I think Pycat was 100% correct here. You saw the Medusa try to 1v5. She was hitting non-stop. She was ignored the entire time while they were going for the base siege, and they didn't care.
Yeah, this Manta style, you pop this Manta, and then you have these 2 illusions that die in a split second. They deal no damage.
At least you can get pickoffs like this. Jirax gonna get crushed off by Ohio. The back into stun again. Mushi has to wait a little bit longer. Ohio wants to go for more. He'll get the crush on Matumberman. There's no Aegis Immortal at least, so Matumberman doesn't have that anymore. But at the same time, they just don't care. The snowball's coming forward. Fada's got Concoction. He'll actually self-stun. And Matumberman's going to go down. You've still got the range racked alive here. If Fada can finish this, Liquid will have Megas. So this entire push and everything they lose will still make it worth it. The Fnatic needs something. They need some kind of exit kills to come here. And with the back control, Mind Control wants to sacrifice himself on the front lines to allow Fada to escape. Fnatic know they need to have more. The amplification is still over on the Alchemist. He'll make a break for the top rune. A nice little double damage, but there's trouble at home. Fnatic must come back to defense. And Mushi needs to almost basically rapier this game now.
I think that's the only saving grace anymore. You can still try to go for the Medusa rapier, but she's so far away from it. And I don't know if they're going to be able to hold their base for long enough. They got so much gold off of that Liquid as they just destroyed that base.
I don't even think a rapier is... I don't even know if it helps at this point. It's...
You think it's that far gone?
She's still gonna have trouble attacking anyone. The problem is she's just getting kited anyways. The Liquid heroes, they just run around. They run away from this Medusa. The Rapier won't really change that. Slaughter, he will still go down in the fights.
Yeah, that's why I agree with you where the Scotty was needed at some
Yeah.
point. You needed that second layer of lockdown, or just that slow alone helps a lot.
I mean, Fnatic don't want to play this game from the back foot. They don't want to be the one who are pressured. They want to go in, they want to siege with the healing word from the Juggernaut. They want to have the weave up, they want to have the Slaughter jump in, crush, amp, and just have this Deuce at the front line, just hitting the base. But at this rate, yeah, I mean, now we're already at Mega Creeps.
Yeah, it's Mega Creeps, it's 33k net worth advantage. Even if the experience gets to swing back the other way, you got an Aghanim set to pass over to both the Darkseer as well as the Earth Spirit.
Part of the problem right now is that Fnatic just have two heroes that don't provide anything anymore. The Tusk, we haven't felt his impact at all. And DJ is one of those players that you expect to feel his impact at all parts of the game. Never really able to get anything going.
You're a long way out here. Kuro's ready to jump as well. The Vac, there's no follow-up stun. He gets the BKB out from Ohio. That was his 8-second BKB as well.
He can just re-engage.
Like, you look at Mushi, every time the smoke screen comes out, he feels like he has to run away from the smoke screen. But that is a problem, because if you're investing 10k gold almost into these two items, Linken's and Manta, and also now he got the MKB, but he still wants to run.
Oh, 3-4-3. This is not the dream for him. The silence as well from the smoke screen. He's trying to get out of range so he can get the Shallow Grave off, but it just won't be enough. The Darkseer back wall also causing severe problems with Christian Tumbleman. Team Liquid, they've destroyed this Fnatic base. They'll go one by one. You can buy back as many people as you want to, but it will not stop the rampage. Liquid are all over it. Omni Slash up. They got enough life. They can even tank through the entire Omni Slash of mid one, and there it is. GG. Team Liquid will take game one of this best of 3 against Fnatic.
Before the panel said that they thought that Fnatic's draft was better, we almost unanimously agreed while we were watching that, and yet Liquid, that was a dominating performance.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like Liquid played way better than Fnatic did in this game. I felt like Fnatic, they played a bit too passive, and also they grouped up way too much. I don't think that they can afford to do that. Also the Tusk, I felt not so much impact from this hero this game.
Yeah, but was there any other way to force it?